Hey friends, it's Clint with South Alabama Liberty. We've had a little bit of movement on this whole job or jab situation where you're being forced to take a shot or lose your job. I know many of you are not under a mandate right this minute, but we've been told the mandates are coming. Everything that these people have said they're going to do, they've done. It's been amazing how far they've moved the needle in just a few months since they've been in office. So all of our concerns are well founded, and these things are coming, and they are not going to stop unless we stop them. Now, I'm saying all that to say we got some movement in Alabama. Way back earlier in the year, we pushed really hard, and we got a ban on, or at least a partial ban on vaccine passports here in the state of Alabama. There was an incredible amount of pushback on that, pushback from the medical industry, pushback from higher education. And when I say medical industry, I mean as broad as you can think. There were people from all over pushing so that they would be able to have the power to deny you services if you were not vaccinated. Now, I'm not talking about a particular doctor or anything, or a dentist office or anything like that. I'm talking about their lobbyists. But their lobbyists clearly wanted them to have the power to not only prevent you from coming on their property, but to legally deny you services if you didn't meet their vaccine requirements. We're able to get that killed. But places like UAB were emboldened by this latest executive order, or at least the rumor that it was coming. So before the executive order hit, UAB had already announced that they didn't care what Alabama law was. They didn't say it that way, but they were going to enforce a vaccine mandate on all of their employees, the students, vendors, volunteers, and visitors. They were going to say if you were not vaccinated, you could not come on our property, period. And they would be able to deny services to someone who needed UAB. If you needed to be transported there and you were unvaccinated, you could not come. St. Vincent's was part of that. The drop dead date for UAB, for you to have, for the employees to have any kind of exemption, to file an exemption for medical exemption or religious exemption, was 21 September. For St. Vincent, that was the 1st of October. The drop dead date for both places was 12 November for you to be fully vaccinated or you do not have a job, period. Now, there's a lot of people here that have watched some of my videos that don't quite understand the importance of phone calls. They feel like that's not really going to get anything done. I'm here to tell you that the squeaky wheel gets the grease. It is just that simple, and that's basically what has happened here. Phone calls work, phone calls work, phone calls work. Petitions do not work. They just don't work. Form letters do not work. They don't work. Emails are a little bit better than a form letter, but they are not much better. If you're doing those things and that's what you want to do, I'm not going to try to stop you from doing it, but I'm telling you, a phone call, a polite, to the point, matter of fact phone call, not a call, a call where you're abusing somebody on the other end of the phone, but a citizen calling, a lot of citizens calling and voicing their opinion makes a difference. The only thing better than that's an in-person visit, and that's very difficult with our time schedules in modern day lives. That's very difficult to do. So phone calls, phone calls, phone calls. So what has happened between phone calls from citizens in the state of Alabama and from hard work for the people from the people over at Eagle Forum of Alabama, they did a lot of work on this directly toward Attorney General Steve Marshall. He sent a letter first, a cease and desist letter, because they were using state databases to determine who was and was not vaccinated. So we stopped that. He has obviously, Steve Marshall has sent a letter to the Biden administration saying they plan to sue them as soon as the Department of Labor has the mandate language ready and is ready to try to implement that, that they're going to sue them as well. Now, what he also did is put pressure on UAB. UAB now has officially backed away from their position that they're going to force all of these people to have a vaccine. They haven't pushed away or backed away from it permanently. They're just saying they're suspending it at this time. But that is a huge, huge victory for the people of Alabama. It's a huge victory for you. It's a huge victory for the people who made all the phone calls. They just simply work. Now, I'm saying all of that to say this. We are only beginning. We have only started to push back, and we've only had this one little victory, so we need to continue to work. Even if you are not currently under a vaccine mandate, I need you to get on the phone. I'm going to give you two numbers, politicians to call. The number will be either up here or down here, depending on where this video gets posted. We need to get on the phone, and we need to call, and we need to push. One of the things I specifically would like for you to do on these two phone calls, is I would like to get you to express your concern for Alabama citizens who are civilians and who work on military installations. Now, everybody's going to tell you that there's nothing the state of Alabama can do to stop what happens there. And if those same people are the people who told you that if you call the governor's office or if you call the attorney general's office, they don't care if you call. Okay, now, the attorney general of Alabama has very limited power on a military installation. I get it. They have very little power at the post office. I mean, that's federal property. And even those Alabama citizens who work at the post office, the attorney general is limited there. But he's not powerless. And what we need letters from attorneys general all across the country putting pressure, saying they're citizens in this state, they're citizens of this state, and because they work at a federal facility does not mean that you are going to that they have to give up their rights in order to do that. So we need some pushback here. I'm going to give you two phone numbers. Please call. Please be polite. Please tell them that you would like a statement from their office specifically about Alabama citizens who work on federal property. We'd like a statement from them about those employees and what they plan to do to protect those employees. We're going to call Kay Ivey's office. We're going to call Steve Marshall's office. Please do not give up the fight. Please don't think that your phone calls don't matter, because your phone calls do. This is going to be a battle that's over relatively quickly as far as political battles go. Sometimes, things draw out, and it's years and years and years before we reach any sort of solution that's favorable to citizens. We don't have time here. We do not have time here. So please get on the phone. Please make the phone calls. Understand that you can get things done, and we are making progress. One more note I want to point out to you, that phone calls and people pushing back was able to do something this Friday. Members from the local lodge 2003 and from District 75 from the IM Union sat down at a table here locally with Barry Moore, and they discussed this very subject. We are making headway. So we've had two things that really apply right here in our area. UAB has backed off, and if you need to go to UAB and you need their services, you're going to be able to go to UAB. And we've had union members sit down with somebody from Washington at a table and discuss the fate of these employees, and at least to sort of develop a strategy to push back. There's going to be more videos. There's going to be more phone calls. Please stay in the fight, and God bless America.